Alright, so as a quick notice before I start the video, I'm going to try to cut down the commentary as much as I can. So that way I could get it through as much as the video as possible. But to start off, this conversation is about what Marcus Morris said about the team not being fun anymore, and about, just about the whole state of the team. And, we're going to get right to it. We're just going to jump straight into it. All right.
Greg, what do you think the biggest problem with the Celtics is?
Biggest problem with the Boston Celtics is Kyrie Irving. Ooh, wow. Kyrie Irving. And this is not a shot at Kyrie Irving.
What is sounded like it? Sounded like it.
While there's a break while they're talking, I 100%, and this is very rare, I 100% agree with Greg Jennings. I watched a little bit of this. I watched like maybe the first minute or so, and then I realized like this dude is mimicking every sentiment I've ever made as far as these videos go about what's wrong with the Celtics. And Greg Jennings is on the money. And I'm going to let him finish.
It's not a shot. It's not a shot at Kyrie Irving because statistically he's having an unbelievable year. Individually. But when you look at the Boston Celtics, you look at how they're made up. Their DNA, their makeup. Brad Stevens is the biggest asset that they have. Although Kyrie Irving is as electrifying, as exciting, as stellar as he is on the court, he takes away from what everybody else does. He doesn't complement everybody else. When you look at their success last year with Kyrie Irving off the court, the ball popped, it moved around, they went through one another. There was no animosity. I shouldn't even say it because I don't believe that there's animosity, but there wasn't any individual play. There wasn't any ISO ball so often. Every blue moon you might see Jason Tatum take a guy one-on-one and get a couple buckets. But for the most part, the ball moved around the arc, through guys cutting through the lanes, Brad Stevens drawing up some fantastic sidelines and baseline out-of-bound plays to get them easy buckets. It's not coming as easy as they once did last year. And when you look at everybody else is statistically, they're down. With the exception of Marcus Morris. The one...
I said this earlier today. I believe I made a video about it when I was commenting on what Marcus Morris was saying. And I said the most surprising part of the team, the player that seems to be playing the best, to me, within the offense, is Marcus Morris. And it's funny how everybody on the team, like he said, everybody on the team, their play seems to have diminished besides Kyrie's. Let's get back to it.
Who said it? He's up. He's trending up statistically. So everybody's numbers have had to decrease because of Gordon Hayward obviously coming back, trying to find his way. He's not even himself, a shell of himself. And I think that with him getting better, we'll see what they look like, but right now, Kyrie Irving is the odd man out.
And I've already said that Gordon Hayward, even though he's not where he was when he first signed with the Celtics, but he's slowly getting back to that all-star level small forward that we saw in Utah. He's slowly starting to get back, but he isn't the problem. He is diminishing his role to help the young guys be able to recapture whatever magic they had last year.
Looks great because of what he provides offensively, and from a fan's perspective, he's exciting to watch. He has everything that you want in a player, but for the Boston Celtics, they are the New England Patriots of the National Basketball Association. They are they have their coach in line, fundamentally sound, concrete. Everybody else can be role players. That is such a stretch.
I wouldn't go so far as to call them the New England Patriots of the NBA. If anything, the San Antonio Spurs are the New England Patriots of the NBA. Because no matter who they plug into their system, no matter what player they sign, no matter what players they lose, they seem to always bounce back on their feet. And it's funny how Rob Parker is the notorious Patriot hater. And he has a look on his face of disgust at what Greg Jennings just said, which everything Greg Jennings just said, besides the whole Boston being New England thing, everything he said is 100% factual. It's very true. And nobody wants to hear it because people love Kyrie. They love his game. It reminds them of Allen Iverson, but no.
Did they make the playoffs without Kyrie Irving last year?
Half the league makes the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the Lakers.
All right, Grant.
Also, before Chris Broussard, I believe he's about to start. Before he starts, last year Kyrie went down with like a month left in the regular season, and when he went down, they went on a very surprising run to finish the regular season and into the playoffs. A very surprising run. I believe they were at least two times over 500. Like, I believe they were twice as many wins as losses.
Look, you obviously made good points about the style of play with Kyrie versus without Kyrie and all that. But in his presence, him returning from injury has created some of these issues. However, here's why he's not the problem, and he's really a big part of the answer, is that without Kyrie...
Before Chris Broussard starts, and I'm going to make this quick, I'm going to tell you why he is the problem, and then Chris Broussard is going to see why he isn't, and you can just decide for yourself. But the reason why he is the problem is because when he was out last year, just like when Gordon Hayward went down, that was the best thing that could happen to Jason Tatum, because that allowed Jason Tatum to play more, and that was the best thing that happened for Jaylen Brown, because that allowed Jaylen Brown to play more, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum last year were interchangeable. One could be moved to the shooting guard. One could be moved to the small forward. And, you don't miss a step. They were interchangeable. And that was the best thing. Even though his injury was horrific, that was the best thing about Gordon Hayward going down. When Kyrie went down, that opened up a whole new world of possibilities for these young guys. Because not only were they playing well, they were learning how to play with each other. And it was beautiful, honestly. Like, I mean, I didn't see beautiful basketball in Boston like that for a very long time. I don't even know if the Celtics of 07 looked like that. I mean, it looked like everybody was hitting their stride and everybody was just free-flowing it out there, and it looked great. This year is completely different. Opposite ends of the spectrum.
They can make the playoffs without it. They can even go fairly deep. But they can't have a hope.
They did it last year, so they can do it.
Or a prayer of winning a championship. And now that the East is improved with Milwaukee getting so much better, Philadelphia now being stacked.
Okay, all right. Because I need to address this, because everybody seems to believe that the East is getting better. Tobias Harris goes to the Philadelphia 76ers. Who else? Nikola Mirotic goes, even though I like Nikola Mirotic's game, I believe that he is one of the most underrated role players in the NBA. And who else is in the East? Toronto getting Marc Gasol. All right, Toronto getting Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol is about 4 years past his prime. Like, this is literally the final years of his career. If he plays past this year, this is the final years of his career. I mean, you're not going to get that Defensive Player of the Year Marc Gasol from a few years ago. Tobias Harris is a great talent, but he's a fringe guy. You don't even know what position you want him at. And he damn sure is not affecting a team, a team with championship aspirations. He's not affecting them like that. I mean, he's a really good role player, but he's not affecting them like that. So I don't know, man. Look, Boston right now is just fucking up. They have the opportunity to do something this year, and no team in the East that I can see, if not Boston, can beat Golden State in a 7-game series. I don't even think Boston can do it, but Boston has the best chance. That's all I'm saying.
Toronto getting better with Kawhi Leonard. They can't even reach the finals without Kyrie Irving. All right, and that's why Danny Ainge, even with all the hints, Kyrie kind of backing off, saying I'm planning to stay here. even with all that, Danny Ainge is still all in on keeping Kyrie. And he's also all in on going after Anthony Davis. Why? Because
The reason why, and I'm going to answer your question right now, the reason why, first I'm going to answer the Danny Ainge thing. The reason why Danny Ainge is all in on keeping Kyrie Irving is because you won't be able to find another player like Kyrie Irving that can do some of the things on offense that he can do. And it's not only that, but Kyrie is getting better since he's been in Boston. Him defensively, he's been a way better player than you've ever seen him in his career. Getting way better at that. All right, but another thing I want to address, how can you say that the Boston Celtics can't get to the NBA Finals without Kyrie Irving when Kyrie, they've never gotten there with Kyrie, so you don't even know if he can get them there. So right now, you're just saying it because of his greatness and because of, his place among, great players this year. I mean, Kyrie is a top 10 player, no problem. And you're only saying it because of that. But Kyrie has never shown in his career. And I'm giving Kyrie benefit of the doubt because he was young and people gave him a whole lot of shit for not being able to lead the Cleveland Cavaliers. Honestly, LeBron, as great as he is, I mean, he couldn't win shit with them. I mean, he got them to the finals. But I'm thinking, they kind of overachieved that year because when they got to the finals against the Spurs, they got dismantled. It wasn't even close. They didn't even win a game. So how do you expect a Kyrie Irving who's not a LeBron James to win with that team? But he hasn't proved that he can win. I mean, and to kind of add on to some of the criticisms against him, he didn't win until LeBron got there. But,
he understands Kyrie Irving is a superstar. And while we could be good, really good, kind of, without Kyrie, we can't be great without Kyrie. And obviously in Boston, it's about being great and winning championships. Danny Ainge knows.
All right, so since Boston can't be great, how the hell did they get past Milwaukee last year with Giannis, who's supposed to be the next big thing? I mean, Milwaukee was 100% healthy last year. They had everybody. Everybody that's on their team was healthy. How did Boston beat them in 7 games? I don't remember any significant injuries to the Sixers last year. How did they completely destroy them in the second round with Philly only managing to win 1 game? And the only reason why the Philadelphia 76ers won that game, anybody that watched it knows TJ McConnell was the X factor in that goddamn game. Not Joel Embiid, damn sure not Ben Simmons, who in that playoff series only managed to score 1 point in the game. But TJ McConnell, the energy guy. Terry Rozier was destroying people before he faced TJ McConnell. And TJ McConnell was in his ass. That energy that Boston had last year, TJ McConnell had that energy. And he was in Rozier's ass. And honestly, after that game, Rozier was never the same player after that game.
Every one of those 17 championships they have a superstar leading the way. Danny Ainge knows that in the entire history of the NBA, only twice, 2004, the Detroit Pistons,
One of the greatest teams of all time.
1979 Seattle Supersonics. Those are the only 2 championship teams in NBA history who weren't led by a superstar. So he knows, look, I get it. The chemistry's a little shaky. Guys are in their feelings. But Kyrie Irving has to be here to stay because if we want to win again, it's with him. Now, quickly to your point, you're right about the players. Jason Tatum, in the playoffs without Kyrie last year, 18 points. This year, 16 points a game. Jaylen Brown, in the playoffs without Kyrie, 18 points. This year, 13, less than 13 points. He was shooting 15 shots a game. Now he's at 11. He was getting 32 minutes. Now he's at 26. Terry Rozier, this is the biggest drop.
Yes.
16 and a half points without Kyrie in the playoffs. 9 this year. 14 field goal attempts. 8 now. 36 minutes. 23 now. So you're right. That's where Marcus Morris is saying we're individuals. We're not having fun. I get it. If I was Terry Rozier, I wouldn't be having fun either. And he and Kyrie, y'all think are friends. But he's dropped 13 minutes a night. He's not getting the shots, and the same with the other two. So that's the problem in Boston. But Kyrie, if they can, he's a keeper.
I agree with a lot of that. The last little stuff that he threw in there, I agree with a lot of it, except for the Terry Rozier thing. Look, when Kyrie went down, Terry Rozier was the starting point guard. I believe, what's his name? Shane something. I forgot his name. But he wore number 8 last year for the Celtics. He was the backup. He was coming off the bench. When Kyrie comes back, you have to expect that his numbers will significantly drop. And you're talking about a playoff run with less games than the regular season. You know, like, I don't know. I mean, it's more games. You're going to have more games where you don't do as much than games where you're the starter and you're actually playing at the highest, you're playing at the highest level that you can at that moment. So I expected Terry Rozier numbers to drop. That's why I thought he would come out like Superman and try to do everything on his own and, jack up a whole bunch of fucking bullshit shots and, put the team in jeopardy. That's why I thought coming into the season, Terry Rozier might be the problem. But I was wrong. It was Kyrie.
And you made me move some of the other.
Finally, Chris, very nice. Greg, I don't know what you're talking about. Because here we go. This is the thing that's so crazy. The kids, you all bent out of shape. That they're not getting their points or whatever. Those kids went to bed in Game 7 against LeBron and the Cavaliers. Because if Kyrie was on that team, Chris, they would have won that series and gone to the NBA Finals. That's the difference. And then when you talk about Marcus Morris, it's not fun and individuals. When Kyrie came back after he was injured and missed some games, they won 10 out of 11. In the 7-game stretch,
All right, well, while there's a little break in that, I already said that I believe that the Boston Celtics would have beat Cleveland in Game 7 if Kyrie was on that team. Because the separation between Cleveland and Boston wasn't a big difference. There wasn't a big difference. The score was really close. And if you look at the numbers, and if you actually saw the game, you could see Boston was right there. They just couldn't finish the job. And honestly, they just shot way too many three-point shots. So, I already said that Kyrie would have made the difference. But that don't mean that he's not a distraction this year, honestly.
Kyrie averaged almost 30 points a game, 10 assists, shooting 47% from three and 53% from the field overall. So I don't know how you could play any better. And when you, of course, lose 2 star players in Hayward and Kyrie, yes, there were no expectations. Hey, just play. Just go out there. It's much easier to play with that. But if you're talking about trying to win a championship, you've got to have the big guys. He just told you will not. Danny Ainge is not dumb. He understands. You won't win. You won't sniff a championship. Last year, look at this team. Unbelievable. There's 27 three-pointers in Game 7 at home against the Cavaliers. Why? The moment got too big for them. Kyrie's won a championship. He's averaged 30 points against the Warriors in the finals.
There was a couple of things that happened, and then I'll pick this up on another video. I'll pick this video up. I'll do another video on it. But a couple of things, the reason why Boston lost that Game 7. One, Brad Stevens didn't coach them. It looked like he just let them get out there and play. Like this was the fucking, like this is a rec center game, or if we're out at fucking like Rucker Park or some shit like that. And he just let them play. And you don't do that when you're a head coach of an NBA team in the playoffs. You don't do that, especially going up against the best player perceived in the NBA. You don't do that. And this is why I say Kyrie could have helped them win this game. Because honestly, LeBron wasn't even that great in the game. And numbers can be manipulated. It can be twisted. It can be twisted. If a player shooting a basketball is 12 or 15 in the game, you think he had a pretty good offensive game. But if somebody was to tell you he hit 10 layups, you look at the numbers differently. I mean, he's basically just driving to the basket. He's not really shooting. You know, there's not really much diversity in the stats. Numbers can be manipulated, man. That's how a lot of people make arguments for LeBron and Russell Westbrook, because they look at their triple doubles and their near triple doubles and they be like, oh man, they played great. But Russell Westbrook is blocking his teammates' shots and fucking. And the reason why I keep bringing it up is because Russell Westbrook is a great example for how numbers shouldn't play a bigger role as they do in people's mind. So I don't know. I don't look at just the numbers. You got to look at the game. You got to look at how they are playing. And Kyrie may have great numbers this year, man, but it's at the detriment of his teammates, man. I mean, LeBron is a great example of that. People say everybody plays better with LeBron on the floor. No, they don't. Kevin Love. Kevin Love, before coming to Cleveland, when he was in Minnesota, was he was a monster. He was a threat to go 20 and 20 every single night. Like, this dude was a monster on the boards. He was a monster from the field with shooting the ball. Way better three-point shooter when he was in Minnesota. Comes to Cleveland, his role is diminished, just like Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh in Toronto was a monster. He was a superstar. Goes to Miami, his role is diminished so much that he's half the player that he was in Toronto. And I'm not saying that he didn't have a better run as an NBA pro in Miami than he did. He had a better run. He was winning titles. His numbers wasn't terrible, but they weren't, he wasn't as effective in Miami as he was in but he did develop a 3-point shot, which was big. But people have this assumption that players that go to play with LeBron they get better. They get better, and they don't. And this is why a lot of these other superstars don't want to play with LeBron. This is why they don't go rush to play with him. This is why they don't want... Like I said this before, if you look at Ben Simmons' video, or if you look at the video of Ben Simmons, one of the media members, when LeBron was a free agent, one of the media members asked him, what would it be like... what would your reaction be if LeBron came to play with you in Philly? And he was like, well, if it happens, it happens. He said some shit like that. It was just so fucking, it was just so nonchalant. Like, he didn't give a shit. If the team signed him, he would have to deal with it. But I'm pretty sure in Ben Simmons' mind, he ain't want to play with this motherfucker, man. And that has to be acknowledged, man. That has to be acknowledged. All right, but I'm in the video right here. All right.